You're giving him a pass on that shot?
You let him to run the floor and stay and shoot jump shots? I cannot believe you didn't just say,
come on,
give
Shaq.
The big man the ball in the paint and let him dominate.
Yeah, let him score.
Right.
Everybody else can get the rebounds.
He say you got to give me 28 and 10.
No,
Can't give you 28 and 10 from shooting jump shots.
I like this guy. 28 and 6 is good for him.
28 and 6.
He'll give you that
That's
6.
a small forward, not a center.
All right.
6 rebounds.
The tip-off is fast approaching. Let's send it to Kevin Harlan.
A night view of the East River set against the bright lights of New York. City. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to 2K Sports for this NBA presentation. Hi, this is Kevin Harlan, joined by my partners, Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg. The Nets will look to their home court advantage, just one game here in Brooklyn. And going against Chicago, their first meeting of the season. They could only manage a single win in 4 tries against these guys last year.
And this, the first of 3 games these two teams will play against one another this season.
Yeah, you know, these are 2 rival teams that will see each other a fair amount this season. We'll see which team can tip it off with a win.
All fueled up and ready to go. Brought to you by Gatorade. Let's check out who's on the floor. So for Chicago right now, they've got Jimmy Butler, Chandler out there with Mirotic. Then there's Dwayne Wade, and it's Rondo in at the point guard.
And guys got careless with the ball there, and the turnover leads to the big stuff.
Once he came up right with the steal, he went straight on the attack.
That's exactly the way to do it too, Kevin. Go hard to the bucket and don't let them set up the defense. Boy, he made a nice little bounce pass there. We call that the pocket pass, and he did it well.
Watching Brook Lopez, he all the time contributes in every category. It's amazing the number of ways he affects the game.
Deadly with the shot. Tremendous touch. Back to the basket moves, facing up, makes free throws. Good offensive rebounder, capable passer. He just makes things happen.
And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
I had a chance to talk with the head coach for Brooklyn. We talked about their defensive game plan, and he said, for Dwayne Wade, you've got to make him a jump shooter and not fight for his pump fakes. When you do that, it's a foul or he's going to go right by you for the dunk. Kevin, Wade known for that deadly shot fake. We'll see if they can stay disciplined.
Thank you, Doris.
Boy, he shows a lot of desire when he's fighting for that tough board, and his length doesn't hurt either.
Out to the wing. Lopez kicks to Bogdanovich. Pass to Money. Booker dishes to Bogdanovich, and stolen by Mirotic. Some nice ball movement by the Bulls. Rondo wide open. That falls. Nice feed that time from Dwayne Wade.
And early on, they've been nearly perfect from the floor. Just the one miss here on their first 5 attempts.
The wide open look here for Lopez. Great look, but off the mark.
When he's wide open like that, he'll rarely play his head. Tell you what, he's going to put that one in his scrapbook. Absolutely insane with that dunk.
Well, now they're starting to rub it in, aren't they? Have build up a lead, and here we go, folks. It's showtime.
That was a Kodak moment right there. The more plays they make like that, the more they'll have these guys on the ropes.
And that replay is sponsored by Kia, the Kia Slam Cam, giving us a great look at that one.
And how about the offensive rebound with a little extra punch on the putback?
You're right, Greg. As they look to trim the deficit, could we see them send a few more bodies to the boards from here on out? Maybe, just maybe.
Well, I don't think it would be a bad idea, Kevin. I mean, they could use all the second chance points they can get. But that's certainly not who I expected to corral that rebound.
Bulls have had a great rebounding team for a long time now. Last season was no different.
Yeah, so many categories to measure how well a team rebounds. The Bulls were in the top 3 in almost all of them.
Now here's Len. Jimmy Butler unable to get his last shot to go. to the middle. Here's Bogdanovich. The kick out to Lopez. Outside, Lynn. Lopez a screen. Lynn against Rondo. Here's Bogdanovich. No luck. And Chicago will go the other way with the ball.
As for the Bulls and rebounding, I mean, they were second in the league in winning contested rebounds. That's another data analytics stat for you folks. Second overall in total rebounds, too.
Now Lopez, after Dwayne Wade's three-pointer that didn't go. Lynn with it. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one. Just 5 to shoot. From 18 feet away, and he gets it to go.
And with the big men the Bulls have, it's easy to see why they rebound so well. But make no mistake, guards and bigs alike rebound well on this Bulls team.
Rondo passes to Chandler. Butler on the way. Butler can't get that one to fall. Nets trail by 3. Passes to Money. Outside, Lynn. Rondo on the double team. Can't tie it up as that one misses. Lynn against Wade. The feed to Chandler. They set the pick to end the drought. First shot, first basket. He's out of the blocks fast.
And he came off that screen, and the D just didn't get over the top of him.
Yep, weren't there in time enough to challenge Greg, and when that's the case, you can mark those up for him.
And did not seem happy about how things are going on right now, and maybe wants to make some changes.
I agree. I mean, just was not comfortable with the way things were set up at that particular time, and in that case, I think it's the right thing to do.
So Chicago going with an almost entirely new group here. Q, he's checked in for Chandler. Gibson comes in for Mirotic. McDermott's checked in for Butler. And it's D in for Dwayne Wade. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Bulls will take it. And now let's have a look at the teams that were last year's best from the free throw line. The Bulls third.
Boy, Kevin, I thought their coach really did a fantastic job of getting all of the guys on the team to realize the importance of free throws. You know, last year where they were great, excellent from the line. This year, they're hoping to do even better. Good. That's a very good high percentage look right there.
46 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Johnson kicks to Lopez. Back to Johnson. Lopez outside. Johnson dishes to Cramp. Pass to Kilpatrick. 5 to shoot. Fires the 3. Chicago grabs the miss. Tough loss coming against Cleveland in their last game played.
And really, they just shot their average from the free throw line in that game. I think that probably changes the outcome.
No doubt. I mean, because there is a carryover effect when you're not having success at the line.
Lopez. And good, and it takes a nice bounce off the right iron and down. Lopez has got 6. Just 4 seconds left here in the opening quarter. And so the first quarter is in the books. It's Chicago up 5. After this break, we'll be back with the start of the second quarter on 2K Sports. And now the second quarter just getting set to start. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from the Bulls?
It's been a point of emphasis, no doubt, to make sure they attack the rim offensively.
I love the fact they're not settling for outside shots. Keep attacking that rack.
A chance here to get a quick injury report. Now let's check in with our Doris Burke to see how Rajon Rondo's doing.
Hey, Kevin, I spoke with head athletic trainer for the Chicago Bulls. He told me that it doesn't look too serious. A discouraging development for this team so early in the season. We'll see what kind of impact it has on them in the long term, guys.
All right, Doris, and hopefully everything works out for him.
You know, pro trainers have so much available to them at their disposal. If it's nothing serious, he'll be back.
On the court right now, second quarter for the Bulls. At small forward and power forward, it's McDermott and Gibson. D out there with Rajon Rondo, and it's Q in its center. And Chicago has possession after the basket by Brooklyn. And we're about a minute into the second quarter of play. Gibson the screen. Lopez grabs the board. And for Brook Lopez, disappointing start to last season. The season before, he had played only 17 games, so he wanted to make an impact right off the bat. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, you know, he missed the first 2 games altogether with the foot injury and comes back to play pretty well, then hurts his back. Out for 8 more games, comes back again. He's benched in favor of Miles Plumlee. Just a very disjointed year for Lopez.
Money's checked in for the Nets. Jeremy Lin comes in for Johnson. Chicago also making some changes. Tyson Chandler is checked in for Q. Butler comes in for Taj Gibson. And Dwayne Wade subbed in for Rajon Rondo. Here's Valentine. Here's Chandler over Lopez. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Wow, he got whacked on that one. Shouldn't be much debate there.
Blatant contact. Straightforward call. Simple. You know, the Nets really kind of drifted along for the first part of last season, treaded water, but after the All-Star break, they stepped on the gas, put themselves right back in the playoff picture.
Mirotic is checked in for the Bulls. Brooklyn shooting their first free throws of this game.
That's his first personal foul.
No good on the free throw. As you mentioned, the Nets were great after the break, had the 3rd best record post-All-Star break in the East.
Yeah, and how about winning 13 of their first 22 after the break? And sometimes with a new coach and system, it takes a while to kind of figure things out. And that seemed to be the case with the Nets last year.
The Nets making a switch here. Hollis Jefferson's checked in. Here's Money after the basket by Nikola Mirotic. There's the pick. And a wide open look for Lin. From outside, off the mark.
And with room like that off the pick, you have got to knock that one down.
Well, you know, they did everything right, Greg. They executed. All you want is a good look at the basket. Sometimes the shots just don't fall. Offensively, he can be the engine that drives them at any given time.
To the paint. Wants to get it to Booker and does. Let's take a look at the players who were the best on the glass a season ago. 5th, Tyson Chandler.
You know, he was actually a monster on the glass. We talked about him throughout the season. Though he didn't lead the league, he was a big factor in a number of important games.
2 shots.
And a closer look here at the scoring breakdown for the Bulls.
Well, I'll tell you what, they must have had a good shoot-around because they've been fantastic from long range so far, fellas.
And also another aspect of their game that's been super so far tonight is how they've been sharing the basketball.
3-pointer, Butler, another 3 for Chicago.
Well, the defense not doing a good job at all of getting after him. They've got to crowd him and make it tough for him. That's his 2nd this quarter.
Outside, Lin. The pass to Money. There's the dish to Lopez. Plenty of space. And he tries off the glass, but it's no good. Here's Chicago. They're on a 9-1 run. Here's Wade. Booker pulls it in. Booker's got 4 rebounds in this game. Lin with it. Butler covering. Here's Money. He hasn't scored yet. That I'm sure will change. Lopez right side. And it's Chicago with the rebound. Chandler's got 4 rebounds now tonight.
I tell you what, he has quite the act to follow, but Fred Hoiberg was a quick choice for the brass in Chicago. Signed that 5-year deal over the summer, was easily one of the most in-demand coaches available.
4-3.
Nets trail by 10.
The Nets call timeout.
Now a timeout called by Brooklyn.
He's been aggressive looking for a shot, but without much success. It might be time for him to take a step back and look to help the team in other ways.
Bogdanovich is checked in for Jeremy Lin. And the Bulls making a change here as well. Portis, he's checked in for Mirotic. Dishes to Bogdanovich, and down it goes. Dunked through off a wonderful assist.
And he just leaves the D in the dust and explodes to the basket.
You're right. Clark, maybe a momentum changer right there, huh?
It could be, Kevin. I mean, a dunk like that can sometimes get an opponent reeling.
Butler goes in, Chandler, and it goes as the official calls the foul. Count it. He'll shoot one more at the free throw line.
And he just big boyed it right there. The height advantage he's got down low, really difficult for them to defend. And last season, the Nets made sure nobody went off against them. They would lose games, but they did a great job of limiting an opposing star from taking over.
Here's Money. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. Lopez a screen. There's the screen. Shot clock at 5. Here's Booker. That's his second shot and his second basket. He's 2 for 2. As you mentioned with the Nets, they limited takeover games, set an NBA record, in fact, Clark, by allowing the fewest 30-point scores against them.
Yeah, you know, only Harden and Lillard were able to get 30 points against the Nets. As you said, the first team to allow so few in a complete NBA season. Going back to 99's and strike shortened season, the Knicks did it as well.
Bulls shooting their 4th and 5th shots at the foul line in the game.
And just to mention, a season ago, they were very comfortable at the line, hitting about 78% of their free throws.
And, you know, a lot of times, guys, in some of their performances last year, their free throw numbers helped them win games.
Oof, that is a tough shot.
Here's Chicago. They're on a 16-7 run. Valentine passes to Chandler. Goes right through for bucket number 3. He's a perfect 3 for 3 to start.
Another gap in the defense found there, and they've really had their number today.
Kicks it to Bogdanovich. There's 42 seconds left in the first half.
Up high and down hard with the one-hander.
Got a little extra forceful with that one, didn't he? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I think that's going to rouse up his teammates, no doubt.
Johnson kicks to Booker. Here's Bogdanovich. Hands it from downtown. And now it's only a 5-point Chicago lead.
Boy, after having a tough time in the first, he's managed to turn it around nicely this quarter.
The 11-footer, 5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. And Butler gets it to go on the assist by Chandler. 16 points for Butler.
They need to get somebody on him. They've got to cover him like a blanket. He's killing them from outside this period, hitting his 3rd of the second quarter there.
Here's Lopez. Can't get it to go. Valentine. And that concludes the first half. Bulls lead by 8. And time now to go courtside as we send you over to Doris Burke from the sideline. Doris?
Kevin, we have Brooke Lopez with us. What's the attitude you have as a team right now?
Oh, it's so exciting, you know. It's really thrilling to come out with such a great group of guys every night, you know, and play basketball. You know, it's a lot of fun.
Brooke, thank you very much. Kevin, over to you.
Thank you, Doris. And folks, don't go away after the break. We'll see you right back here for the start of the second half in the 3rd quarter.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Well, 2 quarters down, 2 to go. Welcome back. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kenny the Jet Smith as we start breaking it down for you. It was a closely contested first quarter for Chicago. At the end of one, they were able to end up with a 5-point lead. And, Shaq, what did you see out there from the Bulls?
Some great work from them with the 3-ball. They came in with the idea that they can attack this D from long range. They were rotating the ball on the perimeter and letting it fly. And they got a good look. It's a strategy that paid off with a barrage of threes. That's my barrage sound, Ernie.
And, Kenny, what are your thoughts on Brooklyn?
To fall behind like this at home after only one half is upsetting. We're not talking about an insurmountable deficit, but we're not talking about a small one either. They're going to have to play a good second half of basketball for a chance to win this.
Just about time for the 3rd quarter to get underway, and we'll see you again at the Horn.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Brooklyn
And the second half about to start here in just a few moments.
When you're hot, you're hot, and that's certainly been the case for Butler. He's got 16 points, and he's added to his numbers by hitting 4 shots from the three-point line.
And really now you can tell the defense starting to have second thoughts in terms of how they're going to play him. That's 12 points from long range.
We've got Booker. Jeremy Lin is out there with money. Then it's Brook Lopez. And it's Bogdanovich in at the 3. So that's the Nets 5. And the hope for Jeremy Lin last season was that he'd take a step forward in his development, but it almost was the opposite in his play.
And that can happen. You don't always go a straight line north in your improvement in this league. He's been on an upward swing as far as his shooting accuracy, but last season was the worst since his rookie year in that area.
T-Wade on the wing. Good ball movement here by the Bulls. And it's sent back by Lopez. And again, no good by Chicago.
3 straight misses here to start the second half.
Second half rolling along now. About a minute played here. Outside, Lin. Clock at 6. Some room here for Lopez. Mirotic grabs the miss. Mirotic has got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight.
In talking about Lin last season, he never quite gelled with what they were doing in Los Angeles. Both he and Kobe need the ball to be effective, and I got a feeling you guys know which one of those two is going to get it.
You know, getting back to Lin, he was actually pretty strong starting out the season. In November, he made 48% of his shots, 37% from downtown. But in April, he only hit 24% from the field and was eventually shut down for the year.
Q, he's checked in for Tyson Chandler. Bulls always seem to be tough on the road, and last season no different. They would end with 23 road wins on the year.
And that number was good enough for the second most in the East. Unlike shooting, it's very hard for defenses to go cold, and that's why the Bulls have been so good on the road.
And the Nets with possession here. Following the miss by Nikola Mirotic. Lopez kicks to Lin. The Nets need to get a shot off here. Rebound by Butler.
And guys, touching back on the Bulls on the road to illustrate how good they are on the road. Last season marked the 5th straight year of a road record above 500. Incredible consistency as a franchise. And look at how quick he was to bite on the pump fake. Left his feet way too soon.
Yep, you know, here's another stat for the Bulls on the road. Since 2010, when Tom Thibodeau took over, the Bulls have won almost 60% of their road games. That's impressive.
Now a timeout call by Brooklyn. You look at Jimmy Butler. He's really been playing well.
They need to make some adjustments because he's absolutely scorching.
Crabs checked in for the Nets. Chicago also making some changes. Taj Gibson's checked in for Mirotic, and McDermott subbed in for Dwayne Wade. Now here's Lin. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. And Bogdanovich kicks to Crab. Sinks the triple.
You know, there's no better sign of how efficiently a team is operating than their assist numbers. And theirs are fantastic.
Just beautiful when they play the game like this.
Here's Rondo. Butler on the wing. Back to Rondo. Lets it go. The shot's good on the assist by Butler. Rondo's got 5. Nets trail by 6 and out of bounds as the Bulls gain possession.
Well, we've got a moment to look back at last year's Bulls. 3rd in rebounding, 3rd in free throw percentage. And they also showed up in the top 5 in opponent field goal percentage. A very improved defensive team.
Yeah, and going back to their rebounding, very few teams could outmuscle them inside. The size and toughness to scrap for every carom off the backboard.
On defense, the Nets, after Rajon Rondo's bucket. Here's Q, and he drops it in from the low post. And it's an 8-point Bulls lead.
You love it when a big man has those soft hands. Rarely any problem converting that close to the rim.
There's the screen. Here's Crab. The three-pointer off the mark. Chicago has gotten the three-point bug tonight. They've taken 15 shots outside the arc. They're 6 of 15. To the middle. Here's Q. And the layup is good after a nice lead pass. Q's got 8 points.
I love the killer instinct he shows right there, exploding to the rim to add to the lead.
Lopez dishes to Lynn. Uses the glass to finish the layup.
And one thing about Jeremy Lin, he sets the pace. A smart guy, good instincts. He simply knows when to slow it down and when to turn it up.
Chicago calls timeout. And Ray was talking about Lin. He's not a pure point guard, but Clark, he really understands how to use on-ball screens to create opportunities for himself and others.
Kevin, I think he's fantastic at getting into the paint, but still not that effective lining up behind the three-point line as a spot-up shooter. That area has to improve for him.
D, he's checked in for the Bulls. Here's McDermott. Crabbe pulls it in. Nets trail by 8. Johnson at the elbow. Shot is good off the back rim and in.
You know what? That's what you like to see. A perfect pass leading him right into the shot. Didn't even have to break stride.
Rondo passes to Q. 1:24 left in the third. Here's Gibson, and the rebound paying off as they pick up 2 on the second chance bucket right there.
Guys, he's actually indefatigable. He never gives in, never gives up on a play, and that's what it takes to be a great offensive rebounder. You've got to be relentless.
Shoots from 14. Offensive rebound.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
Here's Q, shakes off the strong D and gets to the bucket for 2. Q's got 10 points in the game. For Brooklyn, they've gone an even 50% from the floor here in the third quarter. 4 of 8. Pass to Kilpatrick. Knocks down the 10-footer. He's got 6.
They're not as aggressive from the outside here, but maybe they should think about stretching the defense a little bit, like they did in the first half. I mean, stretching the defense makes it easier to score inside, too.
Nets trail by 8. 5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Here's Bogdanovich. He's got 8. Johnson right side. Pass to Kilpatrick. He feeds it to Bogdanovich. His three-pointer's off the mark.
Not good shot selection. Long range and a defender all up in your jersey.
And, you know, that's just the kind of defensive work he's known for. I mean, he can take that shot away from you and does it more times than not.
And offensively, a great show for the fans through the first 3 quarters. It's been a fun game to watch. It's Chicago up by 8. And fourth quarter basketball will be coming your way on 2K Sports right after this. Well, welcome back as we get set to start the fourth. The Bulls leading by 8. So for Chicago right now, they've got Dwayne Wade, Mirotic out there with Chandler. Then there's Jimmy Butler. And it's Rondo in at the 1 spot.
And just a little bit ragged defensively there, Clark.
Lynn against Rondo. Feeds it to Lopez. Shot's good.
The defense has not been able to keep the ball out of the paint at that end of the floor.
And I'd be interested to know just how many of these attempts have come from inside of 5 feet.
From about 19 feet, Mirotic's shot is off. Mirotic has gone 1 of 3 shooting so far. Now the feed to Booker. No good with the triple. And Chicago shooting straight 49% from the field. Here's Butler. That falls. Nice feed that time from Dwayne Wade. Wade's got his 4th assist in this one. Money passes to Booker. Here's Hollis Jefferson. They set the pick. He kicks it to Lopez. The shot is off. Now Chicago takes it the other way.
Their game plan needs to change if they're going to get out of this hole because he is just not there offensively.
Wade kicks to Rondo. Back to Wade. Chandler a screen. Fires at the elbow. Rebound, Brooklyn.
The mechanics totally out of whack right now. He's lost his feel for the shot.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, just totally out of sync. I mean, you can just see it in the numbers. Nothing going down for him right now.
Lynn. And he was fouled in the act of shooting. Chance here now for a three-point play.
No hesitation at all right there. Just right up against a much bigger defender.
Man, and I love that fearlessness, that aggressive attitude. Boy, I love watching guys play with that kind of abandon and freedom, Greg. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Rondo dishes to Chandler. Back to Rondo. Bulls moving the ball around. And it's Butler missing. Nets trail by 8. Lynn with it. Wade picks him up. Lynn the pass to Hollis Jefferson. Here's Lopez. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. It's on Tyson Chandler.
Looking at the game for Lopez, he's got 10 rebounds and 2 rejections. You know, as tremendous as his stats are, what I've liked most is just the effort he's put into this game.
And Clark, he's worked his tail off at the offensive end, and his D, it has been on point. And listen, the Nets had an up and down year on offense last season, but the one thing they always did was finish their drives. Very good at getting things to drop off the bounce. That was a strength last season. And nobody, guys, among the defenders stepping up to challenge him on that drive to the 10.
And Greg, he says, thank you very much, and sails in for the flush.
And those are the kind of sequences that tell you why the score is what it is.
Lopez, a screen on Rondo. Pass to Booker. Yes! And a nice assist from Lynn. Lynn's got his 3rd assist on the night. Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over.
Yeah, maybe a change of the game plan right now. Looking at some different sets because of the matchups.
Yeah, I agree with you because they're looking to tweak things to maybe get those matchups working in their favor.
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
I was able to listen in on what Chicago's coach was going over with his team. His message, I don't want us patting ourselves on the back just yet. We can congratulate ourselves after the final horn. Right now, we need to go out there and take this one home. Guys?
I love that plan. Set up the opportunity for the mismatch.
Yeah, knowing they have to get a bucket here and exploiting the height advantage where they can find it, well, that's a no-brainer to me. Great opportunity right there. He's got such tremendous length. He can just rise up and get separation for the 3.
The Nets call timeout.
Now a timeout called by Brooklyn. You look at Jimmy Butler. He's really been playing well.
He's dialed in from long range. They got to stay in his hip pocket and deny him the catch.
The Nets making a switch here. Bogdanovich is checked in. On defense, the Bulls. They've led by as many as 11 points. Lopez, no luck. The Bulls leading by 8. Outside Butler. Lets it go with a 3. No good. So Brooklyn will take it the other way. Money passes to Lynn. Rondo with some nice D.
I'm a fan of anybody who defends that way. I mean, they weren't about to open the door and just allow him to cruise in for a layup.
Here's Mirotic. Off target from 3-point range.
Kevin, just enough presence to bother that 3-point attempt there.
Yeah, but for a guy that shoots it as well as he does, I'd say that is an easy look.
The dish to Lopez. An easy layup after coming off the pick. Lopez has got 7 now in this quarter.
Another bucket in the paint. That's something they just have not been able to stop today.
Yeah, the defense is all about disrupting timing and spacing, and what they've got going right now is not getting it done.
He's played an important role in their offense today, guys. Without him, they may not be in the league.
Now a timeout called by Brooklyn. They're behind by 8. 1:32 left in the 4th. Alan Crabb, he's checked in for money. Outside, Lynn. Chandler against Lopez. Lets it go from 11, and he banks it in. Lopez has got 11 points here in just the second half.
And he is really in a zone right now, playing and scoring with confidence.
Heritage has a wide-open look. Trabb pulls it in.
He's tried to get it going, but the shots simply have not been there. Nothing seems to be falling.
There's been a huge discrepancy between these teams in their effectiveness from the three-point line.
It has been pronounced, no doubt about it. Definitely a big factor to this point in the game.
Timeout called the Nets. They're trailing by 9. 109 left in the fourth quarter. 109 left in the fourth quarter of this one. Here's Lopez, and again, no good by Brooklyn. Chicago leading by 9, and it's Wade penetrating. Some solid defense there from Lynn.
No doubt he's struggling right now from the field. Let's see if he can get it going this quarter.
Off target from outside. Wade kicks to Butler. And again, it's the Bulls from deep. 41 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. The pass to Lopez. Chandler with the defensive effort.
Terrific job that time defending at the rim. I mean, it's not an easy task stopping that fella when he's headed to the bucket like that. Good job.
They can score it here, but it won't mean much.
No, not at all. Not a real chance of getting back in it at this point.
Greg, you think it's over?
Kevin, turn out the lights. This party's over.
It's a done deal. Forget about it.
It might be. And the ball travels out of bounds. It was last touched by Rondo.
Well, that's inexcusable to throw a pass that far off the mark.
Now a timeout call by Brooklyn. They're down by 10. 11 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Guys, your thoughts?
You know, you like the fight all the way to the end, but let's face it, guys, this one's over.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I really think you shouldn't be allowed to call timeouts if late in the ball game if there's no chance for it to do any good on the scoreboard.
And so Chicago takes this one, and by a big margin. This was a very strong showing for him, Greg. Not necessarily a runaway win, but one they'll feel very good about.
And let's face it, anytime you can go on the road and win in the fashion they did, you have to feel good about it. Really an outstanding effort all the way around.
And now let's catch up with Doris Burke, who's standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Dwayne, you had a huge impact on the boards tonight. Was that something you tried to do?
Yeah, Coach told me to rebound. I've been trying to rebound lately, so just trying to get down there and help our big guys out.
You did exactly that, Dwayne. Thank you. Kevin, over to you.
Doris, thank you as always. And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. This is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for tuning in. Now we'll head over to the award-winning Ernie Johnson, who's not too far away. EJ?
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Thank you, Kevin. And now let's move on to the presentation of our Jordan Player of the Game, Jimmy Butler. He had a tremendous first half, and that clearly inspired the whole team after halftime. Gave him a big lift.
He was great. 6 3-pointers tonight. Solid effort from beyond the arc. Without his contribution on the perimeter, the offense would have been stagnant, and they wouldn't have had lanes. He really opened the floor for them.
Well, you know, when Butler's on the court, he's going to come at you in all sorts of ways. I mean, defensively, offensively, this guy can just flat out play. Let's not forget he's an all-star, too.
And that'll do it for tonight. For Kenny Smith,